What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Chaos Zero Nightmare. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking, how exactly can you get better save data like this, where you have double Tsukiyomi or double Oni Hunt, or even taking it a step further, where like I have here double Karmic Flames, double Tsukiyomi, double Oni Hunt, or even going further than that, where you could have triple Oni Hunts, for example. How exactly do you get save data like that? And I got to shout out to homie JeeYT. We were hanging and chilling out yesterday, and he helped me refine this process a ton with a method that he uses that what I would call a more singled, like kind of ISO'd focused type of run that allows you to really amplify your chances of being able to copy the cards that you want, but also really taking advantage of being able to also guarantee a higher probability of getting those Niflheim and Divine Epiphanies that you may want on cards for that specific build that you're trying to aim for. Now, of course, with this, I want to make sure that you guys understand what the requirements are, and then, of course, I'll kind of show you how you can do the run and when exactly would you want to reset or keep going, right? So let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. So fundamentally, we need to understand a couple of things before we could even start this farm, and this is something that is really, really important. For this example, we're going to be using Ray and Veronica paired up with Chizuru. But the thing is that this can be used in any combination as long as you understand this important factor. So let's actually start out with with Veronica. Now, with Veronica, if we go and we look at her base cards, we have to understand and really honestly pay respect to an effect called Unique. Now, why is Unique important? Because Unique makes it to where you can only possess one of each type of unique card, right? So I can't have more than one firing preparation in my hand because it is a unique card, right? You also have some epiphanies on your epiphany cards where, like, for example, it can take the Pendant of Resolution. If we go over here to the epiphany, it will allow you to have a chance to basically get one to become a unique, which means that it can only be in your hand, one of them at least, or you can only possess one of them, right? So that is going to be really, really important to keep in mind. Now, outside of that, that is kind of narrowing down what cards you may have to get rid of or what cards can you keep in your hand. Now, the reason why we want to be aware of this is, like, for example, if you look at Bombardment, Bombardment is a unique card. Pendant of Resolution has the chance to become a unique card. And then, of course, Firing Preparation is unique. So when you're looking at cards you may want to get rid of, the only card you technically have to get rid of in a run is potentially Pendant of Resolution and Sir Kowalowski, right? Because in the run, you don't want to get rid of everything because Repose, for example, is going to be a really good card just to kind of help out with the run, especially in the season, to allow you to be able to continue to draw your cards so you can keep dealing damage and or shielding, depending on whatever effect you go for that next epiphany, right? So typically, you want to get rid of the Pendant of Resolution and Sir Kowalowski, right? Now, if we go and we look at Ray, let's talk about Ray. Ray has a couple of different cards. Now, again, kind of the same ordeal where you have like a card like the Resonating Darkness. You can get rid of that card with no problem and the run will still be fine. Again, it is a unique card, but it is a card that has the opportunity, if you actually look here, where if it becomes Resonating Darkness, it loses that unique effect. And when it loses that unique effect, that means that it can actually be copied. And that's something that we're trying to avoid, right? So with that being the case, it's like, okay, understanding that, simply put, you want to have unique cards basically in your hand if you are looking to try to copy other cards in your hand, because that gives you a higher probability to push those cards versus now you have like 7 cards in your hand that could potentially be, copied, right? Now, let's actually go into a run so you guys can kind of see how exactly this works, right? So if we actually go here to the Forbidden Catalyst and we head over to our Chaos, we're going to typically do this on about, I'll say, difficulty 8. There is no need for you to go higher. Why do you not need to go higher? Because it is not really worth. I would say bare minimum a difficulty 12, 13, 14, 15, I think is kind of the sweet spot, depending on like if you do a tier 14 here, but they are significantly harder the higher up you go in difficulty, and it's just not worth it, in my opinion, and you can still get some crazy insane builds here at difficulty 8. So I'm gonna actually roll this to see if I can get a slightly better one, and then we're gonna actually push forward. Okay, so we got the effect that we want. Now, what we're gonna do here is obviously go into nightmare mode. And with nightmare mode, this is gonna be allowing you to increase the tier, which means you're getting a little bit more faint memory points for you to be able to have a little bit more like save data cushion or room for all this copying and removals that you're going to be doing. Now, granted, we are only focused here on Chizuru, so Ray and Veronica do not really matter. You just want them to have enough so that you can actually get through the run. Now, I'm also going to talk about some of the gear that you may want to have on these characters to kind of help out for you taking some of their cards away, because I know somebody's going to say, well, why would I take those cards away if it's going to make the run harder? There are ways for you to keep yourself alive without necessarily directly needing to have those characters' cards, right? Now, one of the things that I typically look for here is something that allows me to have some sort of removal. So if you don't see a removal, just go hit escape, reset it, and then come back, right? That is going to be one of the biggest things here. So we're going to go back in, and then we're going to actually do this, and then we'll re-enter, right? So until you get at least one removal, I would say just keep resetting it until you get that, right? So let's see if we get it this time. All right, so it looks like we got nothing for that. So we're just gonna keep doing this until we actually do it. So I'm gonna actually skip ahead. Okay, so we at least got here the wash away sins. So you can select and remove one card, and then for 3 normal battles, change HP of monsters to 1. This is actually a really, really good one. There are obviously just the one where it just removes a card for you, and then there's the one that has like the 20 stress or the 20% HP. If you can get one like this is like no harm, no foul. It's actually very, very simplistic for what it's worth. So what we're gonna remove here, we're gonna actually get rid of right away the lead card for Ray. And this is, of course, just because, again, this is a card that we're essentially going to have to get rid of anyway, potentially, because it has the chance of being duplicated. So even though we don't have any of the other cards, we just get rid of it because it is going to be a potential card that can get duplicated, right? So we're going to go ahead and delete that card. And then here for 3 battles, we just got 1 HP, and that's pretty nice. Now, when we actually get to the map here, what exactly are you looking for on the map? Number one, most important thing that you're looking for on the map is that you're trying to find where the dimensional tunnel is, right? So it does not matter what fate you have, etc. Like that's whatever, right? So when we're looking at the map, we're trying to see where the dimensional tunnel is. So the dimensional tunnel is up here. And we don't have any DeLong shops in this one until the end. So I guess we can kind of go through this. At least we have some of the normal battles kind of like decreased at least. So we don't have to do, I think we have 1, 2, 3 here. So those are all going to be 1 HPs, which is actually going to speed this up a little bit, right? Now, when we get to the dimensional tunnel, that'll be one thing. But for the most part, I'm going to actually try to push a little bit ahead. So you guys can kind of see some of these things as we go along. So let's actually start out here with this very first node. So I'll kind of take you guys through the whole run, I guess, at this point, since this one isn't too bad. Now, of course, when you're typically like about to do a fight, you can know if you're going to have any epiphanies. It'll be like a little star here highlighted on your deck. And if there's nothing there, that means that you don't have anything that's going to be like a Latin epiphany after you get the kill. So that's fine, right? So we just collect the credits and we keep it pushing. Now we go here to the fire pit or fireplace, or wherever you want to call it, and then we just hit the rest. There's no shop, or we don't even have really enough credits, even if it did. So it's all good. Now we go to the very first unidentified area. Now, any of the unidentified areas that can allow you to have, like, say, for example, removals, conversions, that's absolutely going to be a W for you. This one, like, for example, is going to be when we enter into elite areas, it's going to reduce the HP. We're going to go ahead and try to roll for that. That actually kind of sucked that I didn't roll. It's a pretty low number. So we're going to go ahead and take that, right? And this is just, of course, to make this go a little bit quicker. Now, that is going to be for the next 2 elite areas, which we don't really have too much to worry about, at least here. Now, this one is also going to be a 1 HP as well. All right, so we can just go ahead, Karmic Flames, we do this, do that, end the turn, so we can just finish it. And then, boom, that should be GG, right? Now here we have latent epiphanies that we're able to proc. So we got snack time, And then there it is. It gave me one of those epiphanies for the Pendant of Resolution. Now, the problem is with this specific card, I mean, I don't really care what it's giving me here, but the problem is that now it's no longer going to have like a unique. Now, I won't be able to gain any additional epiphanies, obviously, but it can be copied, right? Because it's not a unique card. So when I get the opportunity to remove this, I'm absolutely going to remove this card, right? So again, just keeping in mind that word unique is really, really important for what can stay and what has to go if you want to increase the probability. Now, you're not going to remove everything. You're just trying to remove as much as you possibly can so that you can increase your chances, right? So now we're going into here with the temporary alliance buff. And it should make this fight pretty seamless. And I'm just kind of running this down too so you guys can also see, because I know people are like, dude, like you're deleting your cards. How are you going to get through the run? Now, I will also say, too, like one important thing is also just making sure your units are actually developed, right? Like, I wouldn't recommend doing this at like really, really low thresholds. If your units aren't built, I mean, granted, you can do runs with units with like no gear and certain things like that, depending on like the specific manifestation. But I just recommend if you want it to be a lot safer, especially when going into exterior, make sure you have gear and stuff like that on, man, just because it just gives you a higher chance of getting through that run more successfully. So we're going to go ahead and AoE here with Veronica so we can just make this a little bit quicker. That guy's out of here. That one's out of here. All right, and we only got to take one hit, which is fine. All right, cool. And then we're just going to, let's go Moonslash. All right, and then that's GG. All right. So we get some equipment here, the damage amount stuff. We can actually give this over to our Chizuru for right now, since we are focused on her. And then here, whenever you have like Fire Pit or, you know, unidentified, one depends on the direction that you need to go in. Like for here, what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to take advantage of that normal battle. But if you don't have that, I mean, it doesn't really matter so much. Just make sure that you're trying to go for like potential card removal chances. So because there's no shop, I mean, we can still go up here for the hill because it doesn't really matter so much. Boom. All right. And then we can leave. And then we're going to go here. We may get a encounter here. Oh, this is perfect. This is actually perfect. So this is going to be the event where you'll be able to convert a card, right? Now, one of those cards that we were just talking about that we got to get rid of, which that sucks that just happened. There we go. We can use this to our advantage because this is a card that gets removed anyway. With this event, what we're still trying to do, obviously, is get rid of cards that we have to get rid of because they don't have a unique effect. So the Pendant of Resolution is something that can go. We could get rid of Snack Time. Now, the only time I really recommend getting rid of Snack Time is if it's the variation of it that doesn't have heal on it, because it's not really giving you too much value, right? Like they all do draw, but you want the one that at least heals, right? If it doesn't, and say like it gives you the Epiphany choice and you for some reason pick the choice where it doesn't heal anymore, get rid of that crap. But for right now, the best choice that we have is going to be the Pendant of Resolution because it is not a unique card, or yeah, it is not a unique card. So we're going to go ahead and convert that. And then it gives us the mutant sample, right? So that is technically counted as a card removal. And that's going to help you out tremendously, right? Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to rest, and that takes down some of that stress that we've accumulated. This is, like I said, been a fairly okay run so far, but we still have one more, technically one more mutant elite fight that we have to do, right? So we're already at the halfway point here, which is pretty good. All right, and then we get the Big Time Hunter. This is going to be for Tenacity. I mean, we got to give this to anybody. I probably should have gave it to Chizuru, but it doesn't really matter, right? Now we're going to go for the Unidentified Area. See what event we can get here. Okay, this is actually a pretty solid one. Now, this one allows you to basically roll and see like if you have the chance to get a regular Epiphany, which we do. I always like going for this one personally because I can pick a character that I still don't have a certain card from them yet. Chizuru is actually really important to start trying to pull her cards if you can help it before you get to the boss for the first exterior, because for the first copy chance, like if you can already have like Oni Hunt, for example, accessible, that's going to be a huge thing, right? So we still haven't gotten Oni Hunt, but we got Bound at Dusk, which is perfectly fine. And then we just keep it moving. So that now is one less card that we have to try to Epiphany to get to show up so that we can have the chance of copying it, right? So we're going to go here, right? We got to do this elite fight. This one is actually a fairly easy one, right? And it looks like are going to be getting some crazy epiphanies here. We got like 3 of them in this one. So hopefully, yep, this one gives us Oni Hunt. I'm pretty sure. Yep, it gave us the Oni Hunt right here. Now, if we can keep this before it gets duplicated, if we can keep it at base before it gets duplicated, that would be great, because that means that we could potentially get 2 different epiphanies, right? So that's kind of the goal. If you don't get it, that's fine, but you just kind of pick the best out of the options that you get, right? So what we're gonna do, firing preparation. We'll just go for the 50% chance to, I guess, create another one, and then we'll use this one. This gives us another card. Now this gives us Repose. Repose is actually okay to keep, mainly because Repose is a card that, again, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to get through the run. It's really not a bad card. So depending on who you're using, you have to kind of determine, like, you know, whose cards you want to keep. But it looks like we do have one more Epiphany, and I don't know whose card it is. Oh, it is going to be, obviously, Ray. And Divine Epiphany at that. So obviously, as good as an Epiphany this is, we are not going to pick it. Because why? This would force you to be in a situation where now you have to remove another card from her, versus if you keep it as a unique, as an upgrade card, you don't have to worry about removing it. So again, as shiny as that looks, just don't do it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go for this middle one and just keep it pushing, right? Now, of course, with that, let's just go ahead and do this. Get rid of the Dark Blade, I guess. And then, oh, hit that. There we go. And then we can go Tsukiyomi here. Let's go Moon Slash. All right. He gets this little fist bump out. And we actually have our stress levels fairly low right now, which is pretty good. Let's get that out of here. Let's go for regen. Okay, nice. And we don't have to worry about really much else, but we'll just do it because we have the AP. All right. Cool. All right, so here we go. We're going to go with that Repose. See what other cards we can get in our hand. All right, sweet. So we're going to go Tsukiyomi here. Go ahead and get those shackles going. And then from here, we'll just go Oni Hunt. We'll go for the break. Go for another Moon Slash. All right, and that's GG, right? So we got him up out of here pretty quick, right? We get some equipment. Now, this equipment is really important. Now, I would recommend if you do get some DeLong shop along the way, this is a piece of gear that is going to tremendously help you in your run, especially with the season. Because at the end of your turn, if there are 3 or more cards in your hand, 140% fixed shield, right? So if you want to make this more seamless, hold on to this, or if you go to a DeLong shop, try to find this or anything that can help you with shield. But this one is probably the most optimal because it is going to guarantee, if you have 3 cards in your hand, just end your turn if you feel like there's a lot of damage coming in, and you're going to get some extra shield. So that kind of gives you that defensive layering, right? So I'm actually glad, like, this run is super crazy for an example. So now we're going to go up. We have this little robot machine thing here. I can't remember what this one gives. I think it's just going to be like a credit choice or maybe some epiphanies. Yeah, this one is like, yeah, it's credit. So we'll just go for the credits. We don't really care. That is just going to kind of help you when you do get to the DeLong shop at least. All right. Okay, cool. And now we are entering into our first dimensional tunnel, which after we do this is going to take us straight to the boss. Now, are you looking for forbidden cards, or are you looking for like epiphany chances? So we're going to enter, and I want to talk about this. You can, with Chizuru specifically, you can or you cannot, right? It all depends. If the run doesn't have a forbidden card in the first tunnel, you can keep going and see what you get, right? Now, you have to kind of determine what character you're trying to build and if they need a forbidden card for the build that you're trying to do, or if they don't. That is just kind of one of those things where you can kind of choose. In this situation right here, we have Jester of Freedom, and then we also have Eternal Hunger. This is going to be like kind of increasing costs and stuff like that. But I would say with this one, it doesn't really matter too much. I guess we'll go with the Gesture of Freedom. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm thinking about what Chizuru does, where she can actually like stop AP generation. So that's kind of the reason there. So we're just going to go with the Gesture of Freedom. But for her, she doesn't technically need to have one unless you want that in her build. So we're just going to keep on pushing. Now, let's see here what options we get. Now, what we're looking for here is for the option to say proc a Niflheim Epiphany. This one doesn't have it, but it does have like stress and then obviously the chance to open up the void at the end. This was added in this update. So if you want to fight the void boss at the end, then you're going to make sure that you at least do one of these. It is a chance, I think, for you to possibly get this to proc like twice, where you can open up the Core of Discord. But if you want to opt out of that and you don't want to have to worry about that fight at the end, I would recommend just not doing it if you don't feel like that's something you can like do every single time or want to do. So that's, you know, to each its own. But going into this next one, let's see if we can get another good one here. So this is the greatest masterpiece. This may be a Niflheim. There we go, right? So trigger Niflheim Epiphany to one random card. Now, keep in mind, this entire time we've been removing cards, right? So if we look at what cards are potentially up for grabs for a potential random picking for basically being Niflheim enhanced, it's Snack Time. We also have Oni Hunt. We have the Bound at Dusk. Tsukiyomi can also get it, as well as the Karmic Flame. So all of Chizuru's cards are basically accessible at this point for an Epiphany. And then the only one that's going to be accessible for Veronica is the Repose. So we're in a pretty good standing as far as the odds of it being a Chizuru card. So we'll test the luck and see what happens. I would rather it probably be like Tsukiyomi maybe over the Oni Hunt, but we shall see what we get. Okay, it actually ended up being Snack Time. All right, that is okay for what it's worth. With Snack Time, again, it doesn't matter because you're not keeping it. If we were really looking for the AP gen, again, we do have that Bound at Dusk card, so it does kind of like prevent us from being able to really go hard with that. But what we are going to do, we're going to actually still, I guess we'll take the random, the last one, because it's not taking more cards to exhaust to use it. So we're just going to go with that one. That is okay. Now, at this point, if you don't get that first Niflheim Epiphany, you can reset right here, right? Like that's basically the run. Like, it's like, okay, I didn't get it on the card I wanted, reset, right? Now, you can continue because there is a chance that you can obviously proc them in normal fights. But if you are looking to just try to see, like, you know, off rip, let me see if I can get that Niflheim card right off rip, that's where you would basically stop, right? It's this first tunnel. You get there. If it doesn't proc, or if it does proc, you either continue or you can, you know, reset. Now, I'm going to keep going for the purpose of this video, but just noting, I'm emphasizing that is where you would reset, start over, do the whole process again. Now, I usually like to kind of, just because I'm a masochist, I guess, I'll keep going, right? Now, the reason why I do is because it is a chance that I could get a Divine or Niflheim Epiphany all on its own, right? It does not necessarily have to come from that event, so it is possible. Now, let's see what we got here. Let's see. I guess we'll go with Inflicted Curse, defeated, create this card. I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll go with the one with the 2 morale here. And then we'll do our Bound at Dusk. So yeah, this is just, again, I at least got to get to the first ending so you guys can kind of see what I'm referring to. Now we have Oni Hunt that looks like he's ready to Epiphany. So that's kind of a thing, at least. So we're going to go ahead and use Repose. All right. And then let's go Oni Hunt. Oh, no, Oni Hunt's actually bringing in another card. Nice. I forgot about the Shadow of the Moon. So that's good. If we can keep that at base, that's amazing. Now, this is also another reason why you may continue is if, like, say, for example, like the Oni Hunt in this scenario where it's really huge to have that be at base so that you can try to duplicate or at least get a chance of trying to duplicate 2 of them, that could be a reason for you to keep going, right? Like, it's like, okay, I can still have a chance to get some epiphanies on those in the interior so that I can actually, you know, develop like say 1 damage Oni hunt, or have one that's more support, like say skill based one or upgrade one. It just really all depends on, you know, how you're kind of feeling in, you know, that run. But let's see, we're gonna go for the dark condensation here. Let's go ahead and let's increase the moon slash damage. All right, and then this should be GG. All right, there we go. All right, so now we're out of the very first tunnel. We get our first piece of equipment. This one I'm actually gonna just give to, I'll just give it to Chizuru here, and we'll keep it pushing, and then we'll leave the dimensional tunnel. All right, so now moving along, we have the DeLong shop. Okay, so like I said, DeLong shop, if you don't have any, this is the first instance where you'll be able to actually remove a card. If you have them earlier, then you'll be removing cards along the way. So here is where we have to, again, try to remember, we got to get rid of cards that can potentially get copied. So if it doesn't have the unique effect, then that is potentially a card that you want to get rid of. Dark Condensation is a card that can go here. We are going to keep the Repose. So yeah, Dark Condensation is the only option we have here. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. All right. And that's pretty easy, right? Now, if we look at what gear we have on, we still need like some stuff for HP. Like, so whatever you can see or pick up, like if you go through here and you refresh and you see anything on discount, grab whatever's on discount. Like if it's going to cost you too much of your credits, remember, you still may have to do some removals later. So don't like go too crazy. Like don't feel like you have to, you know, pick up anything gear wise. Now, another thing I also want to talk about, because I know somebody's going to ask, should you be picking up these common cards? No. Why? Because these common cards, again, don't have unique effects. So a lot of the times what you're basically doing, unless it does have a unique effect, you're basically adding another card that could potentially get copied. And you're also adding another card that can also take up epiphany chances. So this is why you are not grabbing those cards, right? So it is just one of those things. You just gotta kind of be okay with it. I promise you it will be okay. So because we didn't have anything else to pick here, we'll just pick up this one. When drawing bind ability, 40% shield. So we're gonna go ahead and give that to our Veronica, and then we'll heal, and we'll go ahead and do the boss here. Now, I want to show you guys this with all those cards removed. You know, at a tier 13, can I still beat the boss, right? You absolutely can. This is why I don't recommend doing this with like crazy super stacked debuffs against you. Like I'm using Gangrene and like I think I forgot what the other one is. It's like something. It's not harsh though. But yeah, you don't want those effects to be too crazy, because it just makes the run much harder, and you're already running not necessarily at your weakest, but it's definitely a lot weaker than probably some of the normal runs you do. So let's go ahead and do bombardment. All right, and then we're gonna hold on to that. Let's do Bound at Dusk, because we want to build up that Shadow of the Moon if we can. And luckily, because this ain't the boss, he ain't gonna just be absorbing the cards. Okay, so Repose just wants to be great. I mean, this card, I wish I was actually building this on Veronica, because that's actually a really good variation of it. But we're gonna go for Tsukiyomi here. All right, let's see. So we're pretty much solid here in terms of like potential damage. So yeah, we're gonna eat this guy up. And I mean, granted, with Chizuru, she's really good in this method. Like, to be honest, if you're really trying to get a crazy build on her, this method works extremely well. Let's see here. We can go for more shield. We can hold on to the snack time. I mean, there's really no reason to use that right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and hold off. We got full HP. This is like a perfect variation of this run. Like, I want to keep saying that because I know somebody's gonna be like, "But that run was perfect." Like, yeah, it can sometimes get a little wayward, right? It just kind of all depends on, you know, how the run goes, how everything kind of fleshes out. But this is an excellent run. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. But this is great for YouTube, you know? This is great for YouTube. So we got the Shadow of the Moon Plus. Keep in mind, though, we do have cards, you know, that can add more effects to it. So right here, we're going to actually... Yeah, he's going into healing phase. This has haste on it, so it doesn't actually take up a turn. Okay. We can actually get pretty close to killing here. I think we can go this. Right? And then right here, we're going to drop him down even further. We may get some crits if we're lucky enough. Nope, no crits. That's okay. And then I guess we just sort of prepare for this next phase that's coming in. We'll go 2 on that, and then this. All right, and then we could just go into the next turn. All right, cool. So now we have the Karmic Flames with the 2 hits. Go ahead and give me that damage. Thank you. Moon Slash. Get that Rapid Slash out of here. All right, now we can go for the snack time, see if we can get another damage card. Nope, it gave me Gesture of Freedom. Hey, let that happen early. And look at the HP, right? Like we're staying up pretty well, right? Like now, again, I will show you guys like where my investment is on my units, just so you can kind of have an idea of what you may need to do. But let's see here. We're almost done. I think we just need a couple more hits, and we should be able to finish. Yep, here we go. So this now can finish, and that's the boss fight. Now we're gonna see what our potential copy options are, right? All right, cool. So now, mind you, we did all of that deleting. Let's see what copy options we have. Boom. All right. So you can see we have more cards that are obviously fixated on Chizuru. It's just giving us an enhanced chance of being able to get her cards up. Now, the cool thing is that like with this one, I can't obviously go for the Karmic Flames. It's basically, you know, a chance for me to double up on the morale because of the fact that it went with the morale increase on it when it epiphanied. But the thing that does suck is we didn't get the Oni Hunt copy, but there are other opportunities for us to get that copy, right? So we can go for the Karmic Flames if we want that. I would say, why not? Go for it. It's a great card. And it also has Initiate on it. Now, we can also grab, let's see, the Palasa or Palacia Orb is great if we get one of the Oni Hunts, or if Oni Hunt becomes a vulnerable card. That would be excellent on our Chizuru. So that's that, right? I usually skip this unless you want to spend the stamina for it, but then we continue on, right? Now, this is going to be able to decrease the cost of a card. We're not going to necessarily give this to Chizuru. I could give this to her, but it just kind of all depends on what you want to do. I mean, she doesn't technically need it, so we're just going to go ahead and hand that over to Ray. And the nice thing, of course, with forbidden cards is that unless like you have a very, very specific event, which I think that event is really rare to copy it, you don't ever have to worry about it being copied. So we're going to go for possession here. Okay. And then look at this, right? So I was going to actually stop here, but look, the next dimensional tunnel is here. So this is going to kind of like determine everything for you, right? Like what ultimately do you want to do? And then, of course, the next set of events that you get, like there's one other copy event that you can also get. We may get it in this run. I'll probably skip a little bit ahead just to see if I get that. So we're going to do that real quick, all right? Okay, so we've made it to the next dimensional tunnel. Obviously, we just got some fights in here. We're going to go ahead and try to blast through these so we can get to the very end. And then at the end of that, we'll be able to use the unique tunnel, or the rewards that you get from that. I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to skip through these fights so you guys don't have to watch them, though. Okay, so here we are at the second dimensional tunnel, end result for the rewards. I want to talk about the options here. Now, this is also going to coincide with any other event that you come across where, for example, here, it's going to give you more cards. Just skip it, right? You could just not click it, or you can just skip it, right? That's including the event where you can get the vulnerable card that also heals. Skip it, right? You just skip those events because it's not anything you need for this specific build. Now, here is another Nephilim Epiphany chance. We'll see what exactly it goes to out of all the cards we have, and went to Oni Hunt. All right. So what we ended up getting here, oh, that's actually not bad. So this is on the multi-hit with always weakness, or always attack weakness. This is going to be a great card to be able to duplicate, because it's also going to be applicable to the building up the Will-O-Wisp with Chizuru as well. So this is definitely a really, really good Nephilim Epiphany to get. So even though we didn't get the double, or we're not going to get the like base double, this is still a good one with the haste on it for us to be able to take advantage of. And then always having attack weakness on it is just going to be chef's kiss, right? And then of course we do the very last event here, which gives you the credits. So you always take that one, and then we leave the dimensional tunnel. So that is as simple as it gets for the dimensional tunnel. Not really much more that you need to do with that, right? So outside of that, okay, if we continue here, the remaining stuff that we got to do is just going to take us to the boss. I'm going to try to push that, and then we're going to actually, you know, see what our copy chance is. So give me one more second. Now, I wanted to come back real quick because this is another event that you want to look out for if it has like the combatant stress by 5 on the increase, and then it can trigger a Nephilim Epiphany to cards one time. Now, I always say, and again, I'm just showing you guys how you can kind of keep up with your progress on your run, looking at what cards have already epiphanied, right? If they're lighted up right here on the top, that's how you know. Obviously, if it's not the divine symbol, which we were able to do the Bound at Dusk when I stopped like playing the recording, but you can see the initiation here. Tsukiyomi is still up for grabs for that epiphany, right? Now, do we have any other cards on anyone else? Nope, that one is epiphany. This one is epiphany for snack time. And then also the firing preparation is done and the repose. What does that mean? What does that mean, chat? It means that we basically have one card in our hand that could receive that epiphany, which is going to be Tsukiyomi, right? So let's go ahead and let's go for it. I mean, it's probably going to break my Ray, which is fine. We got to wake her up anyway. But when we actually go to, let's see, Tsukiyomi. Now, you see how I'm not really controlling it, but I'm controlling it, right? Like, so again, with 3 Will-O-Wisps for each hit of the next card of this unit used, then you can draw a card with this, right? So we're going to go ahead and pick that one. I mean, granted, you can obviously go for the other ones that add hits, etc. But we're just going to go ahead and pick that one. This is just, like I said, an example. So from here, I'm going to just leave for a second. We'll be right back. We're going to keep on pushing. Okay, guys, so here we are at the very last DeLong shop. Now, what I'm going to do, obviously, we're going to fight the boss, but like per usual, like you already know, you're going to use the DeLong shop to remove whatever you can. Now, I haven't, obviously, I'm only at 120 on the removal, so we didn't really come across that many DeLong shops, right? But we, again, remembering, we're going in, this is what the end result looks like at this point of all the cards. We've gotten epiphanies from the whole run. Now, all these cards are basically like all the Tsukiyomi, Karmic Flames, Bound at Dusk is not actually accessible for this, but Oni Hunt is. And then, of course, we have for, I think, Ray, we have Predator Blade, we have Snack Time, and then on Veronica, we have Repose and Sir Kowalowski. So we're going to actually get rid of the Sir Kowalowski. We at least got to get rid of another card here, right? So that's the reason why this is important. You can obviously, again, see what is here. If you need to finish up any of your builds, this is kind of what you do. Nothing, right? So we're out of here. We do our final rest. Now, I want you guys to see like how my characters are looking. Granted, they did break a couple of times throughout the run, but nothing I wasn't prepared for. So that, I guess, kind of goes into like kind of knowing your characters. But here you can kind of see like the final product with me removing all these cards, how they're still able to perform and get through stuff. Obviously, I would definitely say this is a pretty hard carry from Chizuru. But again, she is the character I feel like a lot of people are trying to build right now, right? So this got it to that point. Oh, forgot to put the Karmic Flames on for the shackles. Now we can continue. And I also, there's a event where you can actually pick, it's like a giant eye robot thing. You can basically pick a effect that reduces the boss's HP by, I think, like 30%. So that's why we don't have that much on here. It's not always guaranteed, so you may have to fight, obviously, a little bit longer. But that is something that you can basically, you know, factor in to potentially helping you with making the run a little bit quicker. So let's go for this ballista, go for the upgrade. All right, so boom. And then here we're going to hold on to that. We'll just use our shield. And we got 3 cards. So look at that. We got the 203. So that's why that 3 cards in hand is so good, because Ballista counts as a card that's just being held in your hand. Let's go for the repos here. We'll try to upkeep our health since it doesn't really cost us anything to do. Let's see. Suki Oni. And we also get to draw one. Nice. Snack time it up. We're going to get rid of the mutant sample. All right, so here we go. We're going to go Oni Hunt here. There we go. I could have actually waited to use that so I got more hits on it, but it's all right. All right, and then we have that Shadow Moon at a plus right now. Hopefully it doesn't get absorbed. That can happen, so... Like, as I was saying it, it's like it literally happens. Okay. That's fine. This guy gets cooked anyway. Oh, you know what? I could have actually kept hitting there, but it's all right. Give me back my Shadow Moon plus. Thank you. All right. Like, that's like his first major hit on me. All right. Let's do ambush. All right. And then we should be just about almost done here. All right. And then that should be GG. Right, so you guys see how I just kind of cooked that, right? Like, Chizuru is just ridiculous. But either way, copy card, chance to see what we get. All right, Karmic Flames, Predator Blade, Repos. I mean, again, just point in case in the run, it's giving us a higher probability of getting the Karmic Flames. This isn't like a perfect example of it, but it just kind of gives you an idea of how we can basically get a higher chance of getting her cards. Again, you could have a run where you basically have like a card you already have done show up again. There's also a couple of events that didn't show up in this run. Like one event that actually shows up, it's like a purple heart that glows. That event actually gives you the opportunity to be able to copy a rare or higher card. That is definitely something that is going to be pretty huge in the run as well, if you're able to get that. But that's basically how you can do it, right? Like, so let's say, for example, this was another card, Oni Hunt, then I would go for duping that, since that is the focal point for this character. And then, of course, we already have a mythic on her, unfortunately, because I fought that Cthulhu dude. So we're just going to drop that on anybody. And then we cancel, we skip, and then we can go to the Core of Discord. Now, if you have the Core of Discord, that's just another chance for you to be able to get a, mythic gear. But what we're going to do here is we're going to actually go back real quick because I want to make sure I end this video off with you guys being able to see the investment on my units. Chizuru is definitely the most invested here. Potential's almost complete. Just got to do this up to like 4 more times, and then the common upgrade card 1 more time, and she's done. Even down to my build, her build, is completely maxed. And this is even her perfect build. I actually have to swap her onto her set. Just haven't had the chance to do that yet. Partner is maxed out, level 60. Okay. But when we go over to my Ray, her partner is level 60 maxed out, as it should be. Potentials, though, aren't really that crazy, but I do have dupes into her, so she does get those extra points there. Memory fragments, I mean, yeah, I've seen people do this with no memory fragments on her, to be honest. She is maxed on the Manifest Ego, but that's obviously because of the banner that's up right now. And then Veronica, same thing. Her gear is kind of like whatever, even less potential investment. And yeah, that's basically what we got. All right, guys, so I know this is a little bit of a lengthier video, but it does kind of give you a little bit more of a walkthrough for those that need it. If you need to skip around, I'm probably going to add some timestamps, at least try to remember to, because I always forget. But yeah, that's going to be basically that with this one, guys. I hope that this video was able to help you out a ton. But everyone, stay blessed. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this type of content and if it was helpful. And share it with a friend, right? So that's going to be that, guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next Chaos Zero Nightmare video.